Yo guys, it's tgtracks, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how I made this Pop Smoke New York drill type beat. Now I already recorded this beat before, but something went wrong with the recording, so now I have to re-record the whole thing. It's kind of long, can't lie, but I'm going to go through everything. I'm going to go through the melody, the counter melody, the snares, 808s, the claps, kicks, everything that I've used in this beat, mixing everything. I'm going to make sure that this tutorial is actually detailed, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go through the melody. So this is the melody that I played. A nice melody right here. Nice sample. Chopped it up as well. So that's the melody. Then you got the hi-hats as well. If you click on these hi-hats, actually I'm gonna show you how I made these. So if you want to know how I made that sort of effect that goes up and down, I'm going to show you right under here. So what you do, just put any sort of note for the hi-hat, highlight the hi-hat, then do Alt. Before you do Alt-O, you do Alt-U. So Alt-U is going to give you the option to chop it up, and then you use the dial to actually pick how you want it chopped up. So in this case, it was about this much. Then I did Alt-U, and Alt-U's the LFO, so this gives you the option to be able to adjust the volume, adjust how you want the volume, you want the speed of it like that. Gives you the option to do it like that. So if I play it, I actually kind of like that. Yeah, I like that. But it's a bit too loud, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do Alt-X, and Alt-X is the level scaling. This helps you to scale the level of it. Yeah, I just want it subtle. And for the beat, I actually made the hi-hat simple because when you're listening to Pop Smoke beats, most of the beats that he used was very simple hi-hats, and I like to put simple hi-hats because it makes more space for the artist's vocals. Sometimes it's nice to put crazy hi-hats, but it's not needed in every beat. In this beat, I just made it simple, so that's the hi-hats there. So I'm gonna go on to another thing. This is gonna be the snares. Obviously the snares kind of simple, and I panned it, separated it from the middle as well. So one thing I like to do with my hi-hats and snares now is I like to separate it from the middle, because then it creates more space for the artist's vocals. If everything's panned to the middle, then it's gonna be weird in terms of rapping on the beat, because everything's in the middle and the artist's vocals need to be in the middle. And if you look at orchestras or live bands, the instruments and the vocals are placed in separate areas of the room for a reason. So that's why I like to actually replicate that in a beat, because it makes the beat easier to listen to. That's why I separate from the middle. So the hi-hats are panned to the side and they're quite wide as well. Then you got the 808 as well. So 808's got to be panned to the middle as well. Most of the times, doesn't have to be, but this is what I like to do. So this is the 808. And pan the 808 as well from left to right. So that's 808. And a lot of people have been asking, tgtracks, how do I do my 808 slides? It's easy. What you do is, okay, I'm going to actually show you. Because of my recording, it doesn't actually show you exactly how it's done, but just listen to what I'm saying. So, for example, if I want to slide it up to D, or actually no, C, you double click it. Double click it, it will say note properties. Then it'll give you this option to do the levels. What you want to do is click portamento, which is actually the slide, and it's going to have like a triangle. It's going to be a right angle triangle. You just want to click on the right angle triangle and then press accept. Then what it will do, it will have this icon on the side of it. So you can see this icon right here. That's what you want. So when I play it, it slides up to the note. Obviously that's not even the right key. Yeah, but that That's how you do the 808 slides. And then obviously you can adjust the slide length as well, and this determines how quick it will slide up to that note. So that's a lot longer than compared to this. That's almost instant. So that's how you do 808 slides. And then obviously you got stuff like this as well. I already showed you how to do this in the hi-hat bit, so I literally just done the same for that. And then for this as well, this is just normal 808s here that I've shortened. And if you hear a lot of pop song beats, you'll hear that as well. But yeah, I made it simple there. And then what I want to go to now is, the Vox. It's actually simple as well, but I don't really need to go over the Vox. It's just the normal Vox. But yeah, I've got different versions of 808s as well. And I like to make different versions of 808s and melodies because it just makes the beat more interesting. So in the verses, 808s are different compared to the chorus. So that bit's different here. And those 808 slides there are different as well. Then if I go to the second verse is going to be different as well. So we have done that, it sounds like this. Sounds different there. And one thing I like to do in my beats as well, I like to make all these cuts because it just makes it more interesting and it's not monotonous. You don't want a beat that just sounds the same throughout the whole thing because it will get boring. If I'm listening to a beat and it sounds the same, unless it's a freestyle type of beat, if I want to hear something different, I'm probably going to lose interest around the halfway mark. It's like 1 minute 30, 1 minute 40. I'll probably lose interest if there's not a lot of change ups. So that's what I like to do. And sometimes I like to just chop up the patterns I already have. So for example, if I had my my first 808 pattern, I might chop up the end bits here. So I might chop up this bit and then I might put it in front of something. So here, just to make it different, just to add something different to the beat. Now I'm gonna go on to the counter melodies as well. So the counter melody is just a violin that I've got right here. So I'm actually gonna play on its own and make it sound real different. So that's pretty much the violin. If I play it with the beat, it sounds like this. That's how it sounds with that. Now, one thing I like to do now is I like to make my intros sound like a movie. So I might have all these sounds that's in the intro, just making it sound really interesting. So this is what the intro sounds like. I probably should have went over this first, but yeah, this is what it sounds like.
Hey yo, tgtracks, I see you cooking.
Make it sound real interesting to listen to. Then I got a riser here. Just to make it sound like a movie. And one thing I like to do now is when I'm making beats, I like to portray a certain feeling. I want the listeners to feel a certain way when they hear the beat. And one thing I've realized when I'm in the studio with rappers or singers, the beats that they choose will capture them straight away. And there's a reason for that, because it makes them feel a certain way. So when I'm making beats now, I'll try to capture that same feeling in my beats so that when they do listen to my beats, it's like, yeah, I want this beat. And they know straight away. That's how you know it's the right beat. That's how rappers know it's the right beat for them when they listen to your beats. They will almost instantly like it. So that's what I try to replicate in my beats now. So that'll be that. Now I'm gonna go on to how I actually mixed everything. But first I want to show you how I mixed the hi-hats, because I feel like that's an important thing to do. So I'm gonna go on to the patterns. I literally just put stereo enhancer on it, and then I clicked one of the presets. If you don't want to click the presets, you can just change it like this. So that's in the middle, and then you just put it to the side like that. That's how you do the panning with that. And then also cut out a lot of the low end as well, because this hi-hat was, you can hear there was a lot of low end, and I didn't really like that, so I cut all the low end just to make it a lot cleaner. Then if I go into the melody as well, one thing I do in the melody, put ozone image on it. Ozone imager basically is like, it's like it acts as a reverb and a stereo enhancer in one. So it helps to actually make your sound stereoized, put in stereo, and then expand the sound. So if I play it, the vector scope is gonna show you how the sound's separated. So if I turn off the stereo, it's gonna be, most of the time it'll be more centered to the middle. So you can see it's more centered to the middle. Whereas if I click it, there's a subtle difference. It makes the sound bigger. It makes it sound like it's in a bigger room. So I'll put ozone image over that. And I put reverb to help that as well, just to make it sound like it's in a bigger room. And then I got the EQ. Took out the low end of the EQ because you don't want the low end of a melody to clash with the low end of an 808 or a bass. You want to make sure that everything has its own separate room, its own separate space in the mix. And that's how you get a clean mix. Just try to find a perfect sweet spot for all your instruments. So yeah, that'll be the melody. That's pretty much what you want to do for most of your melodies. Just cut out the low end and cut out any frequencies you don't like. Actually, one thing I want to show you is how to cut out frequencies you don't like. So I'll get any of these bands, then I'll go to, this is band 5, so I'll turn the width down and I'll just listen. So that's kind of a sharp frequency. One thing you want to do, when you find a frequency that you don't like, you just turn it down like this. And it's like scissors, literally. It's like scissors just cutting through the mix. So you want to make sure you're doing that. And then you just keep doing this until all the frequencies you don't like are cut. But you don't want to cut too much, just very subtle. This is pretty much a clean melody as it is, so I don't really need to cut much. So yeah, that'll be the only thing cut. And you could do the same for your other instruments as well, but I'd mostly say do this for the melodies. So I'm gonna go into my counter melody. All I did is put a reverb on it, and I raised the high end and the upper mids. But I can also do the same with this as well. So I actually like that frequency. It makes it sound spooky. Yeah, doesn't really need much mixing on that, because I've actually already done quite a lot of mixing with this beat, so it doesn't need much mixing. But in terms of reverb as well, I want to show you reverb. So the stock reverb will probably look something like this. It'll be dry. This would probably be down. The high end would be down. This would be down a little bit. This is probably what the stock looks like. It looks something like this. And you can hear the massive difference. It sounds dry. Sounds unrealistic. It doesn't sound like a big sound. So one thing I'm going to do is turn up the wet. Probably turn on the dry. Put the early reflection up a little bit. Now you can hear the difference a little bit already. The one thing I also would do is actually make the room size bigger. And you can change the dimensions of the room as well. And the dimensions of the room actually will change how the sound reflects in the room. So if you have a more boxy type of room with more corners, it's gonna make the sound bounce differently compared to a room that's a complete perfect circle. And I like to make the perfect circles because the sound is equally distributed to each side of the room and it comes back into the middle at the same time, compared to something like this where you've got all these edges and the sound that hit the walls compared to the edges will come back to the middle at different times. So the square, the triangle, all these stuff, it'll make the reverb sound different, but most of the time I just like to make it a perfect circle. It depends on the mix though, it depends what you want in the mix, so it's all down to preference. There's no perfect way to mix in my opinion. This is just what I like to do in my beats. I also put the decay up as well. So for example, if decay is low, it won't decay. It will have a short decay time compared to raising the decay time. It will take longer for the sound to stop with the reverb. So if I raise this up, now it sounds like it's in a huge hall. It sounds like it's in like an opera room or something. So yeah, I'm gonna put that decay down a little bit. And there's all these dials, you can just mess with them. That's really how you get a perfect mix, in my opinion. You just literally just listen. You just listen. And make sure when you're mixing, mix at a low level and high levels. Do both. Preferably a low level. So one thing I like to do when I'm mixing, I'm gonna go back to the playlist. I'm actually just put this as a loop. So here, what I'm gonna do is just loop. Actually, let me turn this down so it's easier. Yeah. One thing I like to do, put the whole mix in mono and then listen to it in mono. One thing I realized, the snare needs to go up. And the reason why I want to put it in mono, because when you're mixing in mono, this will determine how it will sound on devices with smaller speakers, i.e. your phone, your headphones. Your headphones would be in stereo because it's in both sides of the ear. But if you're listening to it on your phone, it's coming from mostly one or two speakers from the same direction. So it will sound something like this. And the aim of putting it in mono and mixing is you want to make sure it still sounds good in mono and stereo. That's how you know you've got a good mix. And it sounds good in both, in my opinion. So that's how I do it. And if you guys are wondering how I chopped up the melody, I use Fruity Slicer. You can use Fruity Slicer or you can use Slice X. Those are the two go-tos in terms of chopping up your melodies. I'm not gonna actually show how I chopped up the melody because I don't want anyone to copy it, but yeah, I chopped up the melody in one of those two. So yeah, that's how I chopped up the melody. And yeah, I also just made sure that the verses are different as well. So for example, in this first verse, it sounds different to the second verse because I don't want the beat to sound the same throughout the whole thing. So make sure it sounds different. You know what I'm saying? And also the outro as well. The outro, the hook will sound a bit different. So I put the verse 808 in the second, in the last outro. And there's also one thing I like to do. I like to slowly cut out the instrument. Then I have the master
tgtracks, I see you cooking.
Just make it nice and simple. But yeah, I think that's the end of this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you guys want to collaborate with me or get any drum kits, or you want to learn how to progress as a music producer, click the links in the bio. I will leave a couple links in the description to get these things. So yeah, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with more videos like this. Alright, guys. So now I'm just gonna let the beat run and let you listen to how the beat sounds.
Hey yo, tgtracks, I see you cooking.